Hello everyone and welcome to Antique and Garden Showcase. Today will be the first question and answer session that I have, and it's mostly going to be an answer session because I've had a few questions, but this is kind of a get to know you introduction to Antique and Garden Showcase. So first, where did the name Antique and Garden Showcase come from? Well, it came from the two things that I really enjoy. And I've learned a lot about gardening over the years, and I just completed a course from the Ashford Institute of Antiques on antiques. But both of those things stemmed from family members. My grandmother was an avid gardener, and I learned a lot from her, and I learned a lot from just doing my own thing in the garden as well. But my uncle, her son, my grandmother's son, was into antiques most of his life, and he was very good at antique repair. He had his own booth, did a lot of sales, found a lot of antiques and things for me, and I learned a lot from him as well. So it's about the experience along the way. And I decided to start the YouTube channel after I became an appraiser as just a way to put some information out there and to create a learning channel. So next, let's find out where the name Antique and Garden Showcase actually came from. When you start a YouTube channel, the first thing you have to do is pick out a name for the YouTube channel. And I didn't want some long and lengthy name, but I wanted a name that was concise and told exactly what this channel was about and what it was going to do. And I got to looking around and I thought, it's about antiques, it's about gardening, but at home, I noticed that I have most of my antiques in showcases, and I got to thinking, antique showcase. I thought, well, how will that apply to gardening? And then I got to looking around and I thought, well, when I plant things, it's almost like in little showcase areas. So it's showcasing what I do. So that's when I decided on the name Antique and Garden Showcase. And like I have antiques in showcases, I have garden items that are showcased outside. So perfect name, I thought, for this particular venture, Antique and Garden Showcase. The next thing when you start a YouTube channel is you have to come up with some sort of logo or picture. And with that, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I've got to come up with a logo. So I started looking around, and I'm going to take you on a short tour and show you exactly where that logo started. So if you're wondering where the Antique and Garden Showcase logo came from, the day that I was trying to decide on that, I kept looking around like, what would make a great logo? Well, right there it is at the top of that mirror. That was what I decided would be the best logo because it looks kind of floral and it is antique. So I decided to use the crest of the mirror as the logo for Antique and Garden Showcase. How did I get started in antiques? Antiques was one of those things that my uncle told me about. He's like, find a piece that you love, learn as much as you can about it, and start a collection. So one day my mother and I were out shopping at an antique store, and we found this little piece that the shop owner had actually damaged, and it was $4 sitting on a shelf, and we liked it. We liked the way it was made, and we decided to pick that piece up. So some of you have seen this in a previous video. This little $4 piece is what started it all. This is a Nippon porcelain piece, and I've become a Nippon porcelain collector over the years, and I am a member of the International Nippon Collectors Club now. So this was the first piece that I started out with, and it's hard to even tell where it was broken, but she had broken off this handle on this side and had glued it back. So she was only charging $4 for this piece. And I thought, well, you know, neat piece, and this is where it started. So that was the first piece I started with, and you're going, well, what was the last piece that you bought? And a lot of you have been following along and know that I go to auctions all the time. Well, I did manage to get the lot at the last auction. So unfortunately I didn't get the garden items that I was looking for there, but I did get the milk pitcher. I got the rest of the items in the lot. I had the sugar bowl as well. I'll put that up a little closer where you can see. And also the teapot. This lot was missing the creamer, so that will be something I'll be looking for in the future down the road. But that's where it started. Started with a $4 piece in an antique shop. What do I hope to accomplish with Antique and Garden Showcase? Well, when I set out on this venture, I wanted it to be a learning space and a sharing space. Both a place where you could take ideas of things that I'm doing and that you can share ideas with me in the comments section. And so far it has worked beautifully. And up until the point where I was mentioned on Garden Answer, things were going kind of slow. And in fact, that's the way I wanted things to go. I wanted things to start off slow and not go at a crazy heavy pace. But having added, several new subscribers has made this venture much more delightful to work for, because I'm getting so many more comments and so many more insights and different things to what I'm doing. So having said that, future, I'd like to see this channel grow. I really would. I'd like to see more people come on. In fact, I get nothing for doing this right now. This is just a side venture for me. I'm hoping soon that it will be one of those things that I can go and do the YouTube partner program. I'm not on that yet, but I'm getting closer. Every view gets me just a little bit closer, and I'm grateful for that. What's coming up on the horizon for Antique and Garden Showcase? Well, on the garden side of things, it's going to start getting probably a little bit more heavy. In fact, I'm going to start working in the kitchen garden soon. I am planning on getting a potato bed started, so I'll take you along on that venture as well. In April around here, we typically start our first crop of different types of green beans. We put those under canvas, so I'll be putting up the canvas tents to keep those under there just in case of cold snaps, because we are in Kentucky 6B, and Kentucky 6B is as unpredictable as the wind a lot of times. In fact, I think it was 2 years ago, I had planted out my super petunias around the retaining wall by the driveway, and thought I was well out of the clear for any type of frost, whatever it was, around May 14th, May 15th. And then all of a sudden one night we had a 28-degree cold snap to come through. And I had to run out there and cover everything up. Everything survived, but it was quite the production to get all of that stuff covered up, thinking that it was safe for the season. So when we plant our first crop of beans, we put them under row covers. That way they have a fighting chance to survive this climate around here. And that's one of the first things we're going to be doing coming up really soon on Antique and Garden Showcase. The antique side of things is always kind of unpredictable. It's based on a lot of the things that go on around here, whether there's auctions, sales, estate sales, things that I'm involved in. Stuff like that. I can always take you along on the journey and do some learning videos along the way. Some of those have been really popular with you all, and some of them have not been as popular, but I'm trying to figure out what the audience really likes and wants to see more of. So any feedback on that and comments would be great. I would love to hear from you on your thoughts of what you would like to see as far as antiques going forward. What are the areas of my yard that will probably need the most work? One of the neglected areas is the area outside of the fence around the kitchen garden. That particular area is going to get a massive redo this year. It's full of all types of perennials, from peonies to irises to bleeding heart to hostas. We've had to have some trees removed over the last couple of years, and that has kind of changed the dynamic on one side. So if you watched the last video, I talked about removing the landscape fabric paper that was down that particular side, and that side is going to be used mostly for roses and things that like morning sun. I don't want anything there tall that's going to be blocking morning sunlight to the kitchen garden itself. So I'm actually thinking about taking, if you watch the video where I moved the stone bench from our former farm, I think I'm going to take that stone bench, put it over there, and maybe recreate the area it was in with a rose on either side of that bench, and then do some other plantings down that side of the fence. Now the back side of that fence, which I've not shown a lot of, it has peonies clustered down at one end, it has irises clustered up at the other end. I think what we're going to do is take those particular things out, which may affect the bloom cycle this year, but we're going to dig those up and move those clumps of peonies by a fence post. So each one is going to have its own specific area as it goes down the hill. This terrain here is not an easy one to work with, because if you've seen the background videos, in the videos, the hillsides are going like this, and our yard is no exception. It rolls in every direction. So any flat spaces that we have, we pretty much have to create. So the upper kitchen garden is the most level spot in this yard. And so when we do that outside of that fence, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, as always. Thanks again for watching Antique and Garden Showcase. I hope you've learned a little bit more about my mission here, and I look forward to working with everyone on here in the future. Thanks again for watching, and as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you so choose. I'd love to have you here. Thanks again. Have a great week. Bye.